All right, I think we're live. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm seeing some folks still logging in, so I'm going to give it a 30 seconds or so here before we kick it off. But thank you all for joining us. A few housekeeping items. You'll note there is a Q&A on the right-hand side of On24. So as we're presenting and as we're going through this, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask that in the Q&A box. We have a plethora of a bunch of attendees and presenters and so to help answer any questions you may have in that chat, or we can do it over our talk as well. So I'm going to give it about 20, 30 more seconds here, and then we'll kick it off since we got started just about 10 seconds late. But if anybody wants to test the Q&A or whatnot, let me know. Let me know who you think is going to win the World Cup or who you're rooting for in the World Cup, and we'll see if we're on the same page. I tend to still lean Spain. I'm a Barcelona guy, so I think they're gonna, after winning Euros, maybe win the World Cup, but we shall see. And I think we've got a pretty good group here, so I am gonna go ahead and just get this started and kick it off. Once again, thanks everyone for joining us. Happy Wednesday. I'm Andrew Ramirez, one of the business development managers on your Lenovo ISG team here at D&H. And then we have Josh from Lenovo and Kyle from the IDG side at D&H, who will all be helping us kind of present and run through what it means as far as this Advantage program that you were emailed about and you were essentially signed up for. So to kind of level set for it real fast, Advantage, what that is we identified a group of partners that essentially we've said, hey, they're selling Lenovo, they're selling through D&H, they're doing a great job, but we think the potential is there to do so much more, right? So we want to make sure that we're working very hand in hand with you, all of our dedicated teams, to strategically say, hey, how can we get this partner from authorized level to gold? Because if you remember, if you had heard, Lenovo did some change of their tiering programs, which Josh is going to go through later. So there's no longer the silver program here. So it goes authorized. And then $1 million, IDG and ISG combined, is gold. So that's really the goal out of this, right? It's how do we get you to that next level? And I even jotted down a few ideas. So as we're going through some of the things here, which I'm going to go through our teams, Kyle's going to go through the incentives, and then Josh some of the programs. But make sure you're leveraging your IDG and ISG teams. You have a bunch of people within D&H dedicated to both of those lines that are here to be resources for you guys, extensions of your team. So make sure you're leveraging us. Make sure that through us and through the team, we're working with Lenovo. Let's engage those Lenovo end user teams and make sure that you're connected with them too, because they're going out there, they're hunting for business at the end user level. They want to work with partners who are pushing Lenovo, IDG, and ISG. Some other things, maybe it's just understanding the Lenovo portfolio better, right? Maybe you're selling a bunch of devices to schools or to small businesses or to local, municipalities right now, but you aren't selling the ISG, the server and storage side. Or vice versa. Maybe you're having that consultative relationship with the customer. You've got a huge foot in the door where they trust you to sell their data center, but you haven't gone after kind of the device and the more transactional business. Let's make sure we're using that 360 kind of motion that you're going to hear about, and that you're selling both the IDG and the ISG, because that's how you're going to earn the most kind of money back, both from a D&H perspective with some of the incentives we're going to go over, and from Lenovo from a rebate perspective. And of course, then I just mentioned it, the last piece of it and to that growth is incentivizing you guys to sell, right? It's letting you know why you should be selling Lenovo and why you should be selling Lenovo through D&H. So hopefully that's a good level set as we're going through this. Again, if you have any questions, let us know, but please think about where we can assist, as the presentation's going on. So what I do want to kick off first here is what I call our creme de la creme. This is the be-all, end-all, I believe, at D&H, and it's our Lenovo IDG business unit, right? So these are the folks that are helping you sell all the devices. You can see it right there in the name. I'm not sure if my arrow is pointing, but selling all the devices and stuff like that on the day-to-day basis. So you have, I don't even know how many people this is, over a dozen, maybe even 24 at your disposal. Leverage them. I'm going to call out just a few folks and kind of the resources or their roles here. So Rodney, Kyle, and Ben are going to be your business development folks on the IDG side. Essentially, I like to say that's, kind of the first point of contact. We want you working with them from an enablement perspective, a strategic perspective, understanding what's going on in the market and how to leverage them. And similar to our ISG team, the IDG team is kind of based in territory. So you have Kyle, who's going to be covering most of the east side of the US. I think many of you have probably worked with him before. Rodney, he's the mayor of D&H. He's been here, a long time and knows anything and everything. So if you're in the central territory and a few other pockets, Rodney is going to be who's kind of mapping to you. And then Ben recently joined the team, promoted to the team to now cover the west side, because again, this business unit is doing so much business at D&H and with Lenovo and with your end users that we thought, heck, we need to even add on one more person to be dedicated to that west space. So Ben is going to map with me on the west side, and we're here to help. And then you can see you have the full group of the folks, the sales specialists to assist and support you in any of that day-to-day business. So there's a plethora of ways you'll use him. I'm not going to go through them all right now, but I just really like to call out, it's a massive team. It's a lot of resources for you to leverage. And then, of course, we do have the pre-sales engineering side of things to help with that. So as you're working on any opportunities with the device side, whether it be Lenovo or competitors, reach out to this team, leverage them. They are going to be the best people to get you, utilizing the programs, get you the best pricing, and making sure we're closing as much business in that area as possible. And then similarly, we're a newer business unit, but we were made in that IDG team image, right? We've seen how successful they've been. We thought, all right, Lenovo said, now it's time to invest in the data center space and the ISG space, right? They've seen where the market is with data exploding, and they thought, we got to make sure that our partners have the resources at our distribution partner to make sure that they can leverage them and succeed with that. So Lenovo said, D&H, you guys are crushing on the IDG side. We want you to do the exact same thing with the ISG side, and we've been doing that. So about 2 years ago, this team was created, and there was only 3 people on that team. Now you can see we've grown to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're actually adding a 10th. We're adding a second sales engineer who just started on the 1st. So 10 people on the team just to help you with ISG in the data center space. Leverage us. I should have mentioned it on the previous slide, but the IDG team has an alias, Lenovo Specialist at dnh.com. That'll go to the whole team here. And then on the ISG side, we have Lenovo Server at dnh.com. The reason I like to call that out is, as you've seen, we have such a large team for both groups. If you email those alias, that's the way you're going to get the fastest response, because we can tag it and manage the inbox to say, hey, here's a pre-sales engineering question around servers. Sean, can you hop on that and help them with the bill of material? Or somebody's looking for help with quoting or deal registration, XYZ, can you help with that? And then, like I said, similar to the IDG team, Shannon and I are your business development managers when it comes to the server and storage space. Shannon is based out of Columbus, Ohio. I'm based out of Chicago, Illinois. And Shannon covers essentially the central and east territories, and I will be covering the central and west territories. So there's just some, at least location information for you guys so you know who to reach out to. The great thing about, I think, our ISG team and being a little newer is we have the bandwidth that we want to work with you, as I said, very strategically, right? We are very hands-on. Our sales support team are more than happy to go in there, enter deal registrations on your behalf, make sure that we're leveraging some of the programs we're going to talk about later, because we understand you have 100 different OEMs that you're selling, right? You can't always know what deal reg programs and what pricing programs are out there and how to get on and submit some of those things. So again, we want to be very hands-on with that, leverage our team as much as possible. We'll take that bandwidth off your plate, so then you can be doing the important stuff like selling to your customers and engaging with them more. And then I did call out, we're adding one more sales engineer, but Sean and Bobby will be here to help you guys with anything from creating bill of materials. Sean is in DCSE, which is the data center sales configurator. He's in that all day, every day. So if you get spec requests from a customer saying, hey, I need a server that's like this, Sean can go in, help build it out, and then we're going to be able to get you guys the pricing and the quote pretty easily. So very high level of both teams, but I would love the folks on here. If you want to talk more in depth with that, please reach out to me or your IDG counterpart, and we can obviously break down the teams in full and how you should be leveraging us. And with that, Kyle, I'm going to flip it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. And obviously a big thank you to everybody that took the time to join and listen in on the webinar. We're excited about what we have to offer here and continuing on Andrew's message around the resources from a personnel perspective, we want to continue it through the programs and the incentives that we have within the group. I'll touch on the D&H incentives that we have for driving your Lenovo business through us. Josh will touch on the Lenovo programs, and that kind of creates a full circle to hopefully help fuel that Lenovo growth through D&H. So again, we're pretty excited. So just touching on two different things. First, our quarterly incentive tied to only the community that you guys are a part of, as well as the year-long. For the quarterly incentive, we took a different approach this year, and we really increased the earn opportunity that you can get if you are part of one of those top 10 spots for the IDG side of the business, top 3 spots for the ISG side of the business. And we did add a kicker to both incentives, both the quarterly, or sorry, just the quarterly, if you're doing both sides of the business, right? We want to align with Lenovo on their one Lenovo approach or their 360 approach, but understanding that, of course, there is 2 different sides of the business and they are separate there. So the good thing about the quarterly incentive, and something to point out, is you are not required to do both sides of the business in order to earn that credit that you're seeing on the flyer here. So if you're an IDG top partner, let's say you're the top partner with the largest revenue for that specific quarter, you'll earn that $3,000 credit, all the way down to, you see, the 6th through 10th place with a $350 credit. Same goes for the ISG from 1st to 3rd. But again, if you only were IDG, you still will get that credit. And this is entirely based off the revenue driven and top revenue partners within each of those spots. The quarterly kicker, again, is going to be pushed if you do both sides of the business. So that's stackable with what you're seeing there from both areas. If you hit IDG first, you hit ISG, you have $4,000 there. Let's say you're top in both, you're probably going to get that kicker the first place. You get an additional $2,500. So it can be a pretty lucrative program for you guys from quarter to quarter. And we'll continue to keep you posted throughout the quarter, of course, where you're trending, are you growing? And of course, did you hit the minimums that we have listed there? IDG being $50,000, ISG being $5,000. And then when you look at the quarterly kicker, those align with the individuals that you're seeing from an incentive perspective. And then I'll jump over to the year-long incentive. So this one we are really excited about because we significantly increased the credit of what we've ever done in the past for our partners within any community that we've done. First place can earn up to a $10,000 credit, all the way down to 5th place with a $1,000 credit, in addition to all those credits that you could potentially get from a quarter-to-quarter perspective. The biggest thing to point out with the year-long incentive is you have to do both sides of the business. Whereas the quarterly, you can do one or the other. Year-long, you have to do both. There are minimums to hit within the community there: $75,000 for IDG, $25,000 for ISG, and then from there, it's the top revenue driving partners from a 1st through 5th perspective with those respective credits. So with that, we're hoping that that's an exciting offer to keep you guys driving Lenovo through D&H. Again, we're going to continue to keep you posted on it, and we have more programs that are exciting to help fuel some of that growth that Josh will go over here now. So Josh, I'll kick it off to you.
Great. Thanks, Kyle. And like Andrew mentioned, we do have the Q&A open. So as we're going along here, please feel free to drop some questions in there. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with us and can get a hold of us, but definitely utilize that Q&A while we have it live with you. We are live. Now, if you're watching this later on the replay, we're not live. But for the folks that are in here now, we're live. So I'm going to go over some partner program updates for you guys real quick. Some of this may be old news. Some of it may be new to you, but it's all pretty relevant to this fiscal year here at Lenovo that started back on April 1st. The first thing is the decision to simplify our tiers, right? Andrew alluded to it earlier. We removed the silver tier, but we actually did a lot more than that also. We went from 11 tiers down to 5, and really for the folks on this call, only 4 that you really want to look at. Platinum Plus 360 is not really something that is you can earn a traditional way. If you really have questions about that, I can answer them offline. But for the sake of today, we'll talk about those 4 main tiers: authorized, gold, platinum, platinum 360, and how you can kind of earn those. But the important thing is that we looked at it and said, hey, how do we make this a little bit more simple, not only for you guys to keep track of where you're at, but for you to keep track of where you're at. Some people, you ask, hey, what's your Lenovo partner level? And they might say silver, and assume that it was silver for both, but it was silver for one and authorized for the other, or gold for one but platinum for the other. So we just said, okay, enough of that. And then we also said that Lenovo 360 additional column, let's scrap that. We'll do a platinum 360. We'll hang on to that. But the gold 360 and all that, we don't need it anymore because, as Andrew mentioned, our tiers now, the revenue requirements are an all-up number from IDG and ISG to really drive that one Lenovo message, or to come full circle like a 360, Kyle. I don't know if you know that's why we say 360. It's just one Lenovo. So authorized tier, that's what you guys on this call are. There's no minimum revenue requirements, but like we mentioned earlier, we're looking to get your guys' business grown. We see how potential in the accounts that are on this call, and so we're looking forward to working with you this fiscal year so that we can get that gold tier in the sites and start driving towards that. And like Andrew mentioned, it's $1 million in revenue to get to that gold tier with one distinct accreditation. That's all it takes. And that $1 million used to be you had to do $1 million in IDG or $1 million in ISG, but now it's one cumulative number. So you do $1 million in Lenovo revenue on the commercial side, then you're going to be sitting at that gold tier. And I say that without, I have full confidence that everyone in this call could definitely get one of the accreditations. There's one that's pretty simple. Don't tell anybody I said that. But you can definitely, you get that revenue. You're basically a shoo-in for that gold. Platinum, we also, I'll just make a quick note of this. If you're looking to really grow with us this year, Platinum went from a $10 million clip down to a $5 million clip. So we've cut the revenue requirement in half, and it only takes 2 accreditations. And I'm sure that you guys could get those taken care of if you hit that $5 million mark. Won't go on the other details of some of the other stuff on here, but the deck has been made available by the producers for you to download after this. So definitely, or actually you might even be able to access it now in the resources tab, but definitely pull these down to look through later. The Elevate program is what is kind of our flagship rebates program for our authorized partners. If you were silver prior, you definitely had to, hit a certain amount, like to really get those rebates cooking, right? So with the authorized, we're actually going to give you an incentive for the first time as an authorized partner at Lenovo. You hit one of those tiers that's mentioned on the screen there. And I'll actually pause, and this is a good way because I have a great question in the Q&A. The Canada requirements and the US requirements are separate, and they would only apply to which country you reside in with your BPID. There are some that kind of are in both or have a BPID for both countries. Maybe you have a multi-country presence. That would be handled separately, okay? Hopefully that answers that question there. But so both are on the screen here as well. If you hit, basically it's going to be a 1% rebate for clearing each one of these gates, and these are paid out quarterly. The idea is that if you hit band E 4 times, you'll be that gold partner, so we don't have to worry about the Elevate program after that point. But we are giving incentives to our authorized partners for the first time. In addition to this, and I'll get into this on the next slide here, I'll call your attention to that 5th column. We have opened up on the IDG side for the first time ever our LEAP program, or our Lenovo Expert Achievers program, to all partners on the IDG side of the business. On the ISG side of the business, they already let all partners that participated in that program. But on the IDG side, it was only gold and above. But now as an authorized partner, you can participate in that program as well. Very simply, just make sure that you're signed up for the LEAP portal through LPH, and you can go in there and you can see what SKUs qualify, and you start earning points per SKU that you sell. Like I said, it's a great program. It's super lucrative. And for authorized partners, this is the first time you're able to do it on the IDG side of the business. It's definitely, I've had some people tell me some wild stories over the year about what they've been able to purchase with LEAP points. I had one partner actually tell me that they purchased a Rivian with LEAP points, which is pretty substantial. So really, really good program available to you guys. And I will also call out that center column one more time on that Lenovo 360 Elevate that does sit inside of LPH, but it's very important that an admin from your team, from your company, whoever the admin is in Lenovo Partner Hub, they have to go in and opt into that program inside of LPH. If you need any help doing that, there's a slide in here. It's the next slide. I won't go over it here, but it'll go through that step-by-step process. Make sure you download the slides, and it'll basically it'll walk you through make sure that you are able to hit those gates, earn those rebates. Okay, and these next couple of slides just goes over again to reiterate what things are available to you by which tier that you are. Authorized tier like you guys are today, you have that Elevate program, you have Leap, you have deal registration and special bid pricing, of course, open to you. And then it goes into detail for the subsequent tiers, what you would be looking at once you hit those tiers, what those rebates start to really look like, and how much more lucrative you get as you grow with us year over year. And so in the spirit of the FIFA World Cup, which I hope that you all are aware, Lenovo is the technology sponsor for the World Cup, and we're very excited about it. I'm going to send this cross over from the top of the box to Andrew, and he's going to put it in the back of the net for us to wrap this thing up.
Headed in, we're good. Golazo, all good to go. Thanks, Josh. And that's an awesome, and it's a great point about the Elevate program. So I want to reiterate that, you do need to sign up or whatnot. So I mentioned all the resources you have. Call, or set up some time with one of the 5 BDMs, myself or Shannon on the ISG side, or Kyle, Ronnie, and Ben on the IDG side. You don't need to sign up separately for ISG and IDG. You can just sign up the one, and then we're good to go with the one Lenovo. So give us a shout if those directions aren't clear and you want help signing up for that, because as I said, the goal is to get you guys to the gold level program, but we want to get you paid on those rebates as you're getting to it as well. So there's my tip of the cap to you, Josh, and make sure we're pushing Elevate there, because I do think it's very important and a great program. And then now that I do have the ball back in my court, so to speak, I just wanted to go over new customer bonus, or you've maybe heard it prior referred to as mission acquisition from Lenovo. It's essentially a program that had existed prior to the last 6 months. And it's a way that hopefully, if you're not familiar with it, and sorry, the slides are changing on my preview, but I think if it's good for you guys, I think we're all okay, hopefully. But if you weren't aware, new customer bonus, essentially what it is if an end user hasn't previously sold ISG or IDG, then it's a way for them to earn deeper discounts on top of the deal registrations. And so for ISG, it had gotten paused. In the last 6 months, there was obviously so much volatility around storage and memory and such that starting, I think it was December, maybe January, it was paused, but it is back. It's up and running. So that is a program eligible again that hopefully you are able to take advantage of. So if you have customers that you're not selling Lenovo ISG into, let's make sure we're having that conversation with them. We can get deal registration, we can stack the new customer bonus on top of it, and then you're good to go. And what I will say too is I really just wanted to call this out from an awareness perspective to you all. It is absolutely something that the D&H business unit that I was showing earlier, we will take care of submitting for it, getting it approved, everything like that. Just a little peek behind the curtain if you weren't aware. When you submit a deal reg, or when we submit a deal reg on your behalf, the second thing we do is we go in there to look to see if the customer is eligible for the new customer bonus. And if they are, we click request NCB in Lenovo Partner Hub. It gets approved, and then we're good to go. We'll add it to the quote. Nothing you need to do, but I want to make you aware of that, because if you're having issues with competitor lead times or things like that, or if you want to provide a second option, maybe a Lenovo ISG option, this is a great program that Lenovo has to make sure that our pricing is going to be aggressive and to make sure that it's in line to beat some of those competitors. So again, you'll get the deal reg, and then you'll stack an additional 5% on top of it. We'll take care of it, awareness, but now you know about it. And then I think I want to make sure, because my preview was showing the Top Choice Express, but now I think I'm showing it live. I can see the little live button on it in the bottom left. So Top Choice Express. This is very, very, very important, especially from a Lenovo ISG perspective. I know I can't see you guys, but show of hands, who's heard of it? Hopefully many of you. But if you haven't, Top Choice Express, colloquial known as TCE, is essentially a program or a way that Lenovo is combating lead time issues. So Lenovo, in their infinite wisdom, could kind of look ahead and see where the market was going, right? And I don't think anybody was perfect to say, oh, we're going to have all the stock. But Lenovo, I've consistently heard from partners, has been the best about it, and it's thanks to this. So Top Choice Express, it is readily available components that can be configured to order in a server and ship in about 10 business days. I'm saying about 10 to 12 business days right now because it's a very popular program that people are utilizing. So again, readily available components that will ship in 10 to 12 days. So if you have server needs that can't do with the blanket 3-month lead times or the 6-month lead times that you're hearing from some of the competitors, we want to make sure we're quoting out a Top Choice Express solution so that we can get that answered or get that for you guys. And then I do think, Josh, I'll stop real fast. Somebody on the question asked, where on LPH can we find the Elevate program? I don't know if you want to touch on that real fast.
Yeah, it should just be in either your sales tab or your programs tab. But the step-by-step instructions I believe, has a direct link to it inside the slide deck. So easiest way to do it, just download the slide deck from the resources, and then you can just follow the links.
Sweet. Thanks, Josh. So Top Choice Express, to circle back to it, it's a great way to combat any issues you're having with lead times when it comes to the server and storage space. So where I will pitch leveraging D&H to really help with this is when we see quote requests come in, it'll sometimes have request specs from the end user, right? That says, we need this processor, this much memory, these storage drives, etc. Lenovo, 99% of their server and storage builds are CTO, right? Configured to order. So when we get those requests, we go in, we build the solution to the specs requested, and we get you that quote. Now, with the tough lead times, we want to be more strategic around that, right? We want to be more proactive around that. So when you are able to send us a spec request, Sean or Bobby, our new sales engineer, are going to look at it, and they're going to say, hey, all right, you requested this drive, but that has a long lead time. Can we maybe switch it to this one, and that'll get it Top Choice Express and shipped to you in 2 weeks? So that way we can go to the customer and say, hey, you requested this. If the solution will work, let's lead with this. And that way you can get it shipped in 2 weeks. So Top Choice Express, TCE, leverage your D&H Lenovo ISG team to help with that. But we're going to get them servers in 10 to 12 days. And it's just been a massive differentiator for us in the market lately. I mean, I think 80% of the quotes we're doing right now are Top Choice Express. We would love that to be 95, but obviously there are plenty of opportunities out there where customers need very specific requirements, and that's the ones that are Top Choice Express. And then the last thing I'll call out about TCE, 30-day quote validity. That's pretty darn good right now, right? If this was 2024, the quotes were available for a longer period of time, but for the past 3 or 4 months, you've probably been getting quotes from some of our competitors that are 3-day validities, 7-day validities, right? And that's just not viable for a data center solution. The customer needs more time. You don't want to get screwed holding the bag, with here was the price. You sent us a PO 10 days later, and now the price has changed, right? So that's another way to combat this. The Top Choice Express, it'll get us the stuff in stock, and it's also going to be 30-day valid quote dates. So that at least just gives everyone time to kind of plan and strategize and figure out a best path forward. If you have any questions about Top Choice Express, ping me on Teams, email me, call my cell. I am more than happy to talk about it because I think it's one of the absolute best things that Lenovo has going for them right now. And with that, I think that's about it. So appreciate everybody coming. I know I can talk quickly and long-windedly sometimes, so hopefully you were able to get some great info from the slides I discussed, and obviously that Kyle went through with the incentives and that Josh went over with the programs. But this is all going to be available for you online. And then again, I can't emphasize enough, reach out to us. Happy to talk about this one-on-one. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we want to be working with you guys on. So Josh, Kyle, I'll kind of turn it over to you guys for final words of wisdom.
Yeah, look, I think Andrew hit on the head, right? We're here to help. We're here to assist, both on the Lenovo side as well as on the D&H side. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions, big or small, any deal size, big or small. We're here to help you guys grow and reach your full potential with Lenovo and D&H. Kyle, anything you want to close us out with?
That's a good way to put it. I'd say this group is meant to be strategic. So, to what these guys said, continue to reach out. We want to make sure that this group's exciting throughout the year. We know it's hard to look ahead for a quarter, let alone a year. So these incentives we're going to keep in front of you. We do have fun stuff throughout the year tied to the group. This webinar was the first of it. We've got Q2, we're going to do an EBC visit at Lenovo's headquarters for select partners. Q3, we're going to tie it into our Hershey Thread event. If any of you have been there, I see some familiar names. In Q4, the BDMs are going to be in the road just to get end of year feedback, close out the year strong. So again, we want to work with you guys. This group, you were picked for this group for a reason. So take advantage of it. We're looking forward to working with you and the continued growth. So thanks again, guys.
Right on. Thanks, everybody.
Right. Have a great day, everybody.